Hi everybody, it's Chris and Steve from Eat, Walk, Learn. Happy Monday. By the way, we're going to be changing the time when we drop this video. We'll tell you next week what that's going to be, but we drop it every Monday, 7:30 a.m. in our local time zone. We're glad you're here. Where are we?
We're in Split, Croatia. We're going to be here for the next month, so yay!
Yay! And we actually promised you last week that we were going to do medical tourism this week. We're going to put that off until next week when we have some results this week that we'll share with you next week. So this week we are talking about something we've been kind of like ruminating around in our mind for a while. We've been on the road for about a year and a half, and we are going to take a moment and reflect on our old life versus our new life and look at 8 different categories about what was better, what's worse, what's different, what's new, and kind of help you. If you're a nomad, we want to know if you agree with what we're saying. And if you're thinking about being a nomad, these are some really great things for you to think about as you plan your adventure abroad. What do you think?
I think we just get started and just jump in.
All right, category number 1 is food. Yeah. So how was food in our old life?
Food was great, but it was pretty consistent, and we cooked a lot and ate a lot at home, and we had our favorite restaurants and favorite places that we like to go to. So I'd say that the menus were mostly in English in the United States.
And we could stick to, like, if you want to be gluten-free or vegan or pescatarian or celiac or whatever, it was really easy to follow what those food restriction needs were in our old life. Right. But now, in our new life, food is much different. We still go to the grocery store, we still cook at home, we still eat out, but every trip to the grocery store is an adventure. I mean, we had to translate labels, and we need to find things in the grocery store. Things are not, eggs, for example, are not in the refrigerated section. and even the ingredients we look for, like peanut butter, are sometimes super hard to find. And then when we go to restaurants, like Steve said, you look at the menu.
And the menu, and it's like, this isn't in English, and I think I know what I'm this is maybe, I don't know, eggplant, I'm not sure.
And good luck trying to ask for gluten-free or no sugar, or does it have bacon fat in it? I mean, you just kind of go do the best that you can and go with the punches and really enjoy the experience rather than...
that's the advantage, is to be more adventurous, to try the local foods, to try the local street foods, and it's like, oh, maybe there's something in it that I don't know, I shouldn't eat, but I'm going to try it anyways.
You just kind of give up control a little bit.
Right, just try it.
Yeah. So food, of course, leads us into our second category, which is exercise, health, wellness category. So how was that in our past life?
In our past life, it was pretty consistent, and I think you're going to find this as a theme. We had our favorite gym that we went to 3 days a week.
Oh yeah, 45 people if you're watching.
We walked around, the neighborhood, a lot of evening walks, in the neighborhood, and bike riding at least every Saturday. Went for a nice long bike ride.
And when I went with my girlfriends on a hike almost every Saturday, so pretty consistent schedule. But now in this life, first of all, we have to put aside the fact that we're nomads and not let that be an excuse, because we have to find places to exercise and we have to find ways to eat well. So you'll find us in the local park using the outdoor gym. You'll find us, maybe we can't even find a gym, we might be at a park bench, or we'll join a local gym if we're in a place long enough, or we'll just, because even though we're walking still about 15,000 steps a day in our just general living our life, we have to put exercise into a very intentional schedule. Otherwise, we'll let our nomad life excuses just let exercise fade away.
Yeah, I definitely realized that I was, gaining weight and didn't want to do that. So got back to a little exercise routine that was a little bit more intentional, I think is the word, because it's like Chris said, it's really easy to just let it slip and say, oh, well, I think I just want to, go to the beach today and not, worry about, working out. And so you got to be more focused and more intentional with health.
And thank God for YouTube, because we pull a lot of videos off of YouTube as well. So number 3, that leading right into sleep. How was sleep in our old life?
It was good. Sleep was okay.
We had our very trusty Tempur-Pedic mattress and our favorite pillows, and we were in control of the light and when the sun came in the room, and we had control over our sleeping environment. But because you were working, there was a little bit more stress, and that made sleeping a little different.
And I'm surprised. I'm sleeping better now than I ever have in a long, long time. And I think a lot of that is due to reduced stress because I'm not working anymore. Because definitely there's the travel and being a nomad. We're in all kinds of different beds and different kinds of sleeping situations and light rooms and dark rooms and hard beds and soft beds and don't have the right pillow. I never have the right pillow anymore.
But you do carry a little pillow with you.
I do, just in case.
The expensive space of your suitcase, you squeeze a pillow in there.
My pillow.
But it's definitely, you have to be willing to sleep on a firm bed or a soft bed or just adjust because the bed situation is just not going to be like it was at home. But on the other hand, our sex life is better. So
there's lots of things that are better in the
about that.
bedroom. So, yeah.
Okay, moving on to medical and dental care. So how is that in our life?
I have to say that I never had really good, solid relationships with doctors or dentists. They were always just a fact of I just needed them, and they were in my life. I know that's different for a lot of people. They want to build those long-term relationships, and here now, we just can't do that. I mean, we're moving around, and a lot of times we're kind of trying to slip things in. How can we find a good dentist to get our teeth cleaned, or we want to get a little medical procedure or something like that. Chris, do you want to talk about your feet and your legs and your knees?
Well, we'll talk about that next week, at the beginning of that conversation next week, about what's going on with my lower extremities. But in the past, although I did have relationships and things with my doctors back in Denver, the medical care was expensive. The good news is we knew how to navigate the insurance situation, but it was expensive. It was often misbilled. It was a little frustrating getting referrals and getting the proper care at the right time. Now, it's much cheaper. It's easier to find doctors. We actually just go to the expat groups and get referrals there, and that usually puts us right into the right place at the right time. And the medical care, in all cases so far, has been better than what we got back in the States. So, that's a moving conversation, but it's definitely something in our nomad life we have to be, again, attentional maybe is more the word here, that when we schedule places that we're going to travel to, if we need medical care, that's going to be part of our decision-making process to see if we can get that medical care there when we actually get to those locations.
And we talked to a lot of our nomad friends, and some of them have had some pretty serious situations where they needed medical care and have had to take care of things. We've been pretty fortunate so far in that we haven't had any emergencies. We do have health insurance. That's a completely different topic. We won't talk about it in this one. Haven't had to use that because, again, if we're in a country where healthcare is very affordable, we're just going to pay out of pocket for minor things and not even worry about the insurance.
And we'll talk about that next week as our medical tourism in Split, Croatia video next week, where we talk about a lot of this medical care that we're talking and insinuating here.
Right.
Okay, number 5, social life, friends, family, relationships, that type of stuff. How was that in the past?
I have a very small, or had a very small friend network, and very consistent. And so I miss some people, but
only some people. You miss your friends from home.
I miss my friends from home.
But
yeah,
or however,
I am. I'm amazed how many people we're meeting, how many people we're connecting with, and how many people in this great nomad community are finding each other, and we're having great meetups and really enjoying a social life that I didn't expect.
And I think a myth people have about nomad life is that you're constantly saying goodbye to people because you meet them once and then you guys separate. We actually have several couple friends that we have met several times in the world. We met them in Denver, we met them in London, we've met them in Spain multiple times, that we just our worlds keep on going together. We're meeting a bunch of them in Kuala Lumpur later on this year. So the myth of you say hello and you say goodbye that's not happening for us. We're saying hello and we're continuing these friendships, and then in between the FaceTime, the face-to-face time, we do FaceTime and we do virtual friendships with them. So it's actually, we probably have more friends now, especially couple friends, than we've ever had. So that's fantastic. Okay, number 6, travel. And hang with us because our last category you really going to know about because there's a lot of changes there. So hang on. Category number 6, travel. So what was travel like in the past?
Yeah, so I used to, I was working and I traveled a lot for work, although during COVID situations, I was sitting in my home office a lot of times. not traveling. But we did a lot of, even during COVID, we traveled all the time. And even if it was just for a long weekend getaway, once a month, for sure we were doing that. But it was, vacation travel, you fly someplace, you spend a few days, maybe a week, and then you fly home and you're in vacation mode. And then, when you get home, you're back to your home mode.
But now travel is just all the time. I mean, every waking moment or thought or something, we're thinking about a train, a plane, a ferry, somehow how we're gonna get from A to B, and B is further than the grocery store. So, and now we have to be very intentional about travel for vacation, and we actually say, okay, this is vacation time, and during vacation time, we might spend more money or eat more food or exercise less or whatever, but that vacation time is different than our travel time, even though travel is all the time. So it's a little bit different kind of framework.
Yeah.
Okay, number 7, transit as opposed to travel. So how were we transiting in the past?
In Denver, we had 2 cars, and we went down to 1 car, but still we were driving pretty much everywhere. We would take the train occasionally to go places that we wanted to go to when it was convenient, and bike riding places that we wanted to go to. But travel was pretty reliable. Transit was pretty reliable, and we knew where we were going from point A to point B, how we were going to get there.
And we had the GPS in the car to get us there.
Right.
So now, every possible way you can transit, we do. Bike share, foot, walking, I guess
Lots
foot
of
walking is the same, bus, tram,
Ubers,
metro, Uber,
funiculars.
anything that is public we use. And we're constantly on our phone in Google trying to navigate different places using bus schedules and bus apps and bike share apps and so on. And every time we leave the house, we have to look something up to figure out where it goes. I mean, there's no such thing as just run down the grocery store. We don't even know where the grocery store is, or even there's one nearby. So it's constantly trying to figure those things out and using our apps and things to get us to those places. So transit is, and we spend a lot more money on transit because it's not, I mean, and every time we go, we have to spend money on transit. It's not just the car is filled up.
Yeah, but can you think about it, if we owned a car, if we were renting a car, how much that would cost, and especially with costs now of gasoline and insurance. So I don't think I ever want to own a car again. I really like this kind of lifestyle and just figuring things out and using the available transportation and transit systems that we have.
Yeah, and everywhere we've been, Europe and Mexico and UK, so far the transit has been far better than almost any city in the U.S. with few exceptions. So, and then the last category that we know you've been waiting for: money, 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 money. Money makes the world go round. So our money is very different in our nomad life than it was in our working married couple life, stationary life. Right. How was it in the past?
We keep our finances actually separately. So I know most people, married couples just have everything pooled together, but we don't do that. We keep them separate. And we spent a lot of money when we lived in the United States. We had a house, we had cars, insurance and just,
and frivolous
just
spending,
lots
and
of things,
unintentional
buying
spending,
things and shopping all the time. And so we're not only are we spending less money now, but we're budgeted and we're pooling our money together. So we have one place that we draw our money from for all of our expenses. We look at all of our expenses every month to see that we are on. I don't think budget is a good word, but on track.
I think so. Here's a video up here of how we spent $50,000 last year to live this lifestyle. We're not doing this lifestyle because it's cheaper than our old lifestyle. We're doing this lifestyle because we want to see the world, and seeing the world happens to be cheaper than how we lived our previous life.
Yeah.
We could spend more money for sure in places that we want to or need to. We will spend more money, and that's probably going to be on experiences or upgrading our travel. But just the way we do money now and the way we track it is because it could really get crazy. Like money could get really crazy really quickly, especially when you're trying to figure out the currency rates and how much things cost, because one avocado here doesn't cost what an avocado there is. And so keeping track of it kind of helps us kind of frame out like what we're doing and how we're spending. Just more for information, I think, than anything. It's really cool to kind of track our numbers and see how they compare to our old life. I mean, we spend like $1,000 a month eating out, or on groceries and eating out, where I don't even know what that number was in the past. That certainly wasn't on eating out, but who knows? It's just interesting to track it and look at it. So anyway, those are our 8 categories about how our life is different than the world. Our imperfect, perfect life that we are living now is absolutely fantastic. We wouldn't trade it for anything. We feel very blessed and very privileged to be able to have this life and to share it in the way that we're sharing it with you guys. Now, if you are a nomad, what do you think about these categories, and how would you alter them or change them or comment on them? And if you're thinking about being a nomad, of these categories, which one are you most worried about? Text us or comment or reach out. And by the way, if we're anywhere where you are, let us know, because we want you to become part of our friend circle, and we want to meet you. Talk to you guys next week, where we're going to talk about medical tourism in Slick, Croatia.